Hi, I'm Dylan, and today I'm going to tell you the story of how I ended up here. An undergraduate at the University of Oxford, currently at the end of my second year reading computer science and philosophy. For me, it all started in the summer of 2017. I just finished year 12, and people were starting to ask me what I wanted to do after sixth form. So, let's go back. And here we are. It's 2017 and I've just finished my AS doubles, which I don't think exist anymore, but they did back then. And the thing is, I don't know what I want to do next. Quite. I have a few ideas. I think I want to go to university. My school, they've sent me to hundreds of careers fairs, and I've been to a couple of open days by now, but nothing's particularly grabbed my attention. A bit of background about myself. I studied A-levels in the English system if you're an international student. I read maths, further maths, physics, and religious studies. So I had a nice range of kind of technical, and I had an essay subject in there. I'm pretty certain at this point that I want to do something vaguely related to maths because it's what I'm strongest in, but a straight maths course, I don't like the sound of it. So eventually I came across a course called Computer Science and Philosophy, which seemed to be offered almost exclusively at the University of Oxford. Now at the time, I, like most people, had no idea what computer science and philosophy would even be. Like, those subjects don't go together, right? So I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out what this mysterious course really was. And eventually I think I got a pretty good idea, but looking back, I think if there was one thing I wish was recommended to me at the time, it was the book Gödel, Escher, Bach by Douglas Hofstadter. Now this is still one of my favourite books. It's smart and fun and witty, all while exploring some of the key themes of the computer science and philosophy course, giving a great taste of what it would be like to study this course. After understanding what computer science and philosophy was all about, I was confident I would be applying. Discussing minds and machines just fascinated me. So around about the middle of summer, I was researching what I would need to do to apply and realized that in November, I would need to take the MAT, the Math Admission Test. So I figured it was time to get revising. Fast forward, and it's now early November. My application has been sent off and I've remembered to register for the MAT by October 15th. With my application, I of course sent off my personal statement. However, I found that wasn't particularly targeted towards Oxford because as I was applying to 4 other universities and to each of them I was applying for straight computer science, I geared my personal statement more towards those universities. And this is very typical for computer science and philosophy applicants just due to the unique nature of the course. The MAT itself is of course difficult, and it's normal to feel challenged by it. After it was over, began the first period of anxious waiting, where I waited to see if I made it to interviews. When I found out that I had been invited to interviews, I only had about 10 days before I was expected to arrive in Oxford. I didn't feel like there was that much I could do to prepare for the interview, as I didn't know what to expect really. So I mainly focused on just trying to relax. It was Christmas after all. Once I'd arrived in a snowy Oxford and found my way to LMH, the college I applied for, I went to see what my next couple days would look like. It turned out that I had 6 interviews over the next 3 days at both LMH and Hertford. I tried to look on the bright side and think, at least if I have so many, I can afford to mess them up, which ended up helping because I definitely felt like I messed a lot of them up. All in all, for me, interviews were a pretty terrifying experience. I was nervous a lot. I felt like I stuttered. I felt like I couldn't answer the questions they asked of me, but I think that's a pretty normal interviews experience. That's what a lot of people that I've spoke to have said about them, and it's hard to really judge coming out of it how well you've done. And after interviews, you get your next period of anxious waiting over the Christmas period to find out if you've made it, if you've got an offer. January now, and it's offer day. The wait has been nerve-wracking, and in my school, a few people had applied, and acceptances and rejections had been flowing in throughout the day. I got mine in the morning, I was lucky, but throughout the day, lots of people got acceptances, rejections. It doesn't matter if you apply to the same college, different colleges. There's no point getting nervous because someone else has got their acceptance yet, and that means you're going to get rejected, or someone's got rejected and you haven't got your email yet, and that means you're going to get in. You can't tell. It's pretty random when you're going to get your offer throughout the day. It will happen on the day. You'll get either an acceptance or a rejection, but don't go worrying because other people have got theirs before you. I think I celebrated for about a week after I got my offer, but then reality set in and I realized I still had a lot of hard work to do. Fast forwarding again, but this time through a lot of revision. We come to summer 2018. My exams are over and I prepare for my final waiting period. This time, waiting for results. And now I come to the end of my wait. It's results day. I've received my confirmation from UCAS and I got the results I needed. I can finally say I'm going to Oxford. This was my journey. I think it's a pretty typical experience of getting into Oxford from what I've understood from talking to other people, but that's far from saying it's the only one. And once you're here as well, the journey isn't over. In a way, getting here is just the beginning. Once you're here, you'll face a range of new intellectual challenges, as well as, for me, I face a lot of social and logistical challenges, the kind of which you face when you're moving away from home for the first time, which is what coming to Oxford really was for me. This has been my application journey. I really hope it will be helpful to you, and I wish you all the best with your own application. Thank you, and goodbye.